I can really not see it going below 30,000.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think, but at a high level, I'm not doing the analysis like you are, but it seems like there's a strong support there.
As Bitcoin continues to maintain its unsteady price movements, the question on many people's lips is, have we seen a top for this cycle or not? This question is a very pertinent one because it would renew people's trust in models and analysts like Plan B and Willy Woo, who believe we are yet to see a top for this cycle. It would also provide more relevant data that will indicate the bottom for the cycle. Though many analysts and leading institutional investors have told people to hold on for dear life, it is quite difficult for many retail investors not to panic in such troubling times. In a January 12 interview with Jay Good, anonymous Bitcoin analyst, Plan B answers some of the questions that have been on everyone's lips in the past week. Welcome to Savvy Finance. This video examines what Plan B feels about the top issues in the Bitcoin space in recent times. In a January 12 interview, Plan B shares his thoughts about what the top will be for the cycle, whether or not we have seen the bottom already, his failed prediction, and the truth behind lengthening cycles. Please watch the video to the end so you do not miss any of the important price indicators that Plan B reveals in his interview. If you have not done so, remember to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. Enjoy the video. Like many other Bitcoin investors, you have probably been worrying about the digital asset's continuous decline since late 2021. The threat of regulatory sanctions has also heightened fear and panic in the space. Many people are asking if the decline will continue or if we have already seen a Bitcoin bottom for this cycle. According to Plan B, there are some indicators that suggest Bitcoin could further bottom out to $24,000 or even $19,000. The pseudonymous analyst explains that the 200-moving week average for the coin is currently around $19,000 to $20,000. If Bitcoin maintains its tradition of not falling below the average, Plan B says its price will not fall below $19,000. But if $69,000 is the top for the cycle and Bitcoin has another 80% downtrend, then the asset can plunge to even lower depths. The realized cap for this month is another indicator that Plan B is considering. He explains that if this is to be considered, the bottom could be around 24,000. Above all, Plan B agrees that 30,000 has proven to be a great support line as it endured the mining ban in 2021. As a result, he believes Bitcoin will not go below $30,000.
Where do you think the bottom might be in this? Because I think it's probably what we saw last year. If it doesn't go much further, it seems like 30,000 is a pretty strong support level at this point. What do you think could be a bottom for this cycle?
Yeah, it's very. It has nothing to do again with the stock to flow model, of course.
No.
Just my personal opinion.
It's more like TA almost. Yeah.
Yeah, almost TA, and of course I did try to do that with the floor model, which epically failed in November and December, so I threw that away. One thing I look at for bottoms is 200 week moving averages, and I think that's at around 19,000 at the moment. So Bitcoin has never gone a monthly close, has never had a monthly close below the 200 week moving average. So that can be seen as a bottom. But
it's interesting. So my buddy might be onto something with his 20 number.
Yeah. But it's very, very low, right? So
that's like a short moment and it's going to bounce. Yeah,
exactly. That would be a perfect moment to buy. But then there's the realized cap, the realized price. You can do a 200 week moving average or another time interval, but then not equally weighted, but weighted with how much Bitcoins were bought in that month or period. And then weight that against the price. So you can weigh the price based on how much Bitcoins were traded at that price. And then you get a realized cap, a realized price. And that is much higher than the 200-week moving average. And so that's a much...
What is that currently?
It is 24,000, I guess.
Okay.
And depends how you... 24,000 based on the price. Every single Bitcoin of the 18.9 Bitcoins out there when they last transacted. But if you make that into that number is heavily skewed by the lost Bitcoins and the first million Satoshi coins. So if you narrow the window down to say also 200 weeks or less, that number goes up significantly to in the 30,000-40,000 range, depending on window. Really not see it going below 30,000.
If you are one of the people that believe that Plan B is finished because of the failure of some of his predictions in 2021, the analyst says you should blame the China mining ban instead. He explains that the ban seriously affected Bitcoin prices in 2021. Some of its effects we can still see today. Listen to Plan B's explanation on why his model failed.
So look, year in review, 2021. What surprised you the most? And what do you think the biggest catalyst? There was a bunch, but what was the biggest catalyst for us not getting to 100,000 plus? Like, what do you think happened last year?
Yeah, I guess the main event was China ban of mining. It scared all the miners out of China. China has always been had a dominant position in Bitcoin because of the mining, because half of the Bitcoin mining was there. It was always perceived as a risk, as a threat.
Yeah.
So now they banned
51% attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So the actual threat and fear became reality. And yes, the hash rate went down 50%, and then it went up to it started to move up 2 months later to the new all-time high right now. And all the miners had moved their coins or their miners to Kazakhstan and the neighbor
They're having
countries
issues right now too, actually, right, with the power.
Yeah, big issues. But most of the miners also went to the United States, of course, Texas and flare gas and etc. Because Kazakhstan, the turbulence we see there right now is not impacting the hash rate too much. So, but that was a big thing, and together with it, the price went down because all the miners, of course, gone and the hash rate gone, created a risk. Will it come back? Will China take over the hardware and 51% attack the network or something? And the miners, of course, had to relocate the hardware, and that cost money, so they had to sell all the bitcoins they had, or some had to do that. Large selling, and so that was a major surprise, because that came for me at a bad moment, because that was exactly the moment that Bitcoin was rising and rising to the stock to flow levels of 100,000, and then all of a sudden, bang, we're back at where are we now? Well, 40 something, and so that was the biggest surprise to me.
Another issue that has been making the waves is lengthening cycles. Many top investors and analysts have tried to justify the unexpected price movements by explaining that this cycle is longer than usual. Plan B is not convinced that the cycle has lengthened, but everything will depend on whether we have seen the top for this cycle or not. This is because lengthening cycles are usually characterized by increasingly lower tops and reduced volatility. Compared to the last cycle's top of $20,000, $69,000 will be low, which might indicate that this cycle is indeed longer than usual. But Plan B needs more evidence to believe in lengthening cycles. Let's listen to the institutional investor's explanation on the topic.
Do you believe in the Bitcoin lengthening cycle theory?
Yeah, I talked with Ben Cohen about that in very much detail, like definitions of what that is. So he's very much into that lengthening cycle and diminishing returns, I think. I always thought that is like the time model, the logarithmic model, that nice curve that's also sometimes used as the demand part versus the stock to flow as the supply part. But it's much lower than. But what I learned from that interview was that lengthening cycles and diminishing returns, you look at the top, the market tops. You look only at the market tops, where I look at averages, right? I look at the regression line, the averages. So he looks at market tops. Lengthening cycles means that the top is later every cycle. And right now it seems like if this was the top, the 69, it was at the same location as 2017. So it's not really lengthening. If the top is not in and will be here in this year, for example, in the summer, then we have, according to that definition, lengthening cycles.
Yeah.
And diminishing returns, same thing. So the tops tend to be relatively lower each cycle. So 2017 was lower, had a lower top than 2013, and now if 69 was the top, we had a lower top this time around. Of course, if we go higher,
this is my theory of contracting the CAGR.
Yeah. But I do not. Well, I should say that differently. I'm not that much interested in the tops and the bottoms because those are one-day events. I can't buy or sell large positions in a day. So I'm much more focused on the average plateau where we, like the 50,000 of last year, you could have bought and sold a lot of money on those levels. So, where the exact top is and where the exact bottom is, actually, I don't really care. Yeah. And but I should say, the general thought that the lengthening cycle guys and diminishing return guys have is that the volatility, as the market grows, the market cap grows, the volatility goes down. I don't think that necessarily is the case with Bitcoin.
Why do you think that? Yeah, explain.
Yeah, because like I said before, I think volatility is suppressed in most markets by the quantitative easing, by the central banks, by...
Okay, and this is outside money.
Yeah, and defaults are not permitted. So a company will be saved by QE money and not letting not being allowed to default. So where does the volatility go? And Bitcoin is one of the last places on earth where volatility can exist. And I think if you look at option markets, they for sure do not foresee lower volatility in the next 12 months. So I guess the market the Bitcoin price will behave, the distribution of Bitcoin prices will be non-normal, power law distribution, like with large volatility and actually without a clear standard deviation or variance. So that's a special part of math or statistics, if you will, which also ties nicely into the exponential growth theories, that it's a non-normal distributed returns market, and volatility plays a really large role. And I guess the volatility will stay, but maybe I'm wrong. So it's very interesting and important to keep watching the implied volatilities from the option markets, because that's where volatility is traded directly, and those markets do not indicate any decrease of volatility in the next 12 months.
The institutional investor also had some optimistic words for his 1.7 million Twitter followers shortly after prices improved slightly on January 12. Plan B's tweet reads, "The bounce will be epic." The graph that accompanies the tweet shows a slight improvement in prices as Bitcoin once again enters the $40,000 region after days of uncertainty. Shortly after the tweet, Plan B also retweets this tweet showing a bull market volatility comparison graph. See how the coin made such great comebacks after bottoming out in the other cycles. If a similar thing happens, Bitcoin may finally be on its way to pre-China ban levels, poised to hit the $100,000 mark. Did you enjoy this video? You can help improve the channel by clicking the like button and subscribing to the channel. Everything helps us grow, so we keep bringing these amazing videos. Also, drop your comments in the box below. We love to hear from our viewers. Thanks for watching and stay safe.